And welcome to another episode of the Dynasty Trades HQ podcast.
Welcome.
Brought to you by the Dynasty Football Network and DynastyFootballFactory.com. My name is Michael Cipes. You can find me on
FF Blitz.
You can find me on Twitter at FF Blitz. And I'm here with my partner, who you already heard interrupt me twice, Jeremy Browand.
You can find me at FF, just kidding, at DFF_Madman.
And Shane Manila.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
You sound so laid back.
Well, I think what's happening with Shane is he's trying to store up his energy because he was just on vacation and he needs to build up all that excitement and energy for our trip to Canton in 2 weeks, right?
My God. Well, it's a week from this coming Friday. We're and a half. It's gonna be like the perfect storm when the three of us arrive at the same place at the same time in Canton, Ohio on the 16th.
Except I'm getting there at like 11:30 in the morning and you guys aren't getting there till when?
Well, I'm planning on leaving at like 12 or 1, so I'll be up there like by 3 or 4 o'clock.
Okay. Shane, when does your plane?
Well, due to the fact that I just took off 10 consecutive work days, I have to work that Friday, so I'll be leaving Friday afternoon.
Due to the fact that I took too much time off, I'll see you guys around midnight on Friday.
Yeah, no, I'll be getting in around 8.
Okay.
The beautiful
We're
Canton.
gonna be lit by 8 o'clock.
But I can't wait for what's going to be really fun is that we get to do that. Then we're going to go visit the Hall of Fame, and then Sunday we're going to be at the Expo, and everyone can save $5 off that ticket just using Trades HQ.
Yeah,
that's the promo code.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're getting hit up the site Midwest FFExpo.com, maybe. I don't know. That's probably it.
MidwestFFExpo.com. It's Canton, Ohio. It's August 18th, Sunday. We're going to be in Canton the whole weekend, the Hall of Fame, like Shane said, on Saturday the 17th. But definitely stop by from noon to 6 on August 18th in Canton, Ohio at the MidwestFFExpo.com. Do it. There's T-shirts. There's all kinds of stuff. Hey, listen, guys, I don't think Shane, everybody realizes that we're going to be giving away some cool stuff. You have a chance to win a couple of hats, raffling off a couple hats, really nice ones, gray with the HQ logo, and 3 T-shirts, a bunch of koozies for your beers. We're going to raffle some of those off. You can buy koozies. You can buy stuff like stickers. You can buy anything that's at our store. We'll be there to take your information and raffle stuff off and talk with you guys for like 6 hours. You have unadulterated access to us and like 31 other sites. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, and we're going to autograph all that stuff too, right? A couple people asked us, are you guys going to autograph the hats and shit?
Absolutely.
We're like, absolutely. It'll be fun.
I'm not autographing shit. Get out of here.
Yes, you are. I'm going to make you. And I'm going to bring, I'm also going to bring the whole video camera setup stuff that I do for my brother at all his conventions so we can videotape the booth and stuff.
This is going to be great.
Yeah, I was just going to tell everyone, just jump on that site and you can, Bob Lung put it together, and he talks about just some of the stuff that, you're going to get just for showing up.
It's amazing.
You're making
$20 worth of swag.
Yeah, you're getting way more worth. I can't speak English, but what you're spending on a ticket, $15, if you use our code, you're getting paid back multiple times.
Yeah, that's
with
more
all
than
the stuff in the swag
worth
bag.
of stuff in the entry bag. The swag bag is seriously, like Shane said, worth every bit of $15 with the coupons and all the freebies in there. And we still have not decided as the HQ what we're going to include in that bag, but we will be adding to the swag bag, and everybody that enters the show will get something from us too.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, well, before we get into our show, because we have a big show tonight, we have Danny Kelly on the show, staff writer from The Ringer. Yeah, it's
awesome.
It's going to be awesome. He's also one of our competitors in the DFB Invitational.
Bastard.
But before we go into that, we do have a new sponsor for the show, right, Shane?
We do?
Stop. Collaborate and listen.
Stop.
Yes.
So, yeah, we have a new sponsor, and so this is their promo.
Awesome.
Stop. Collaborate and listen. BestFantasyFootballLeague.com is back with a brand new invention. Okay, it's not really a new invention, but they've got a cool twist on the Dynasty leagues they're currently providing. 1 quarterback, 3 running back, 4 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flex, no kickers and defenses, 24 rounds. They also have redraft leagues, best ball leagues, entry fees from $19.99 to $2,999. Go check them out, bestfantasyfootballleague.com.
So Vanilla Ice actually he's still on television. The Vanilla Ice project. He actually designs like houses and stuff.
Yes,
like
but that was not Vanilla Ice though. He was just making the
song.
But it's not Vanilla Ice. It's our new sponsor. That was actually the owner of the company for our new sponsor.
All right, so that's actually bestfantasyfootballleague.com. They've got PPR leagues, obviously, non-PPR, 10, 12, and 14-team leagues. You don't find 14-team leagues a lot on a site-run league hosting site, so that's really cool. 4 prize winners per league, which is also very cool because, a lot of leagues, it's winner take all, which, look, that's only one out of maybe 14 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been around for 19 years, providing leagues. You learn your draft position as soon as you join a league. They have great customer service. And guess what? One thing I love, they play double headers. I love double headers where you play against, obviously, your opponent, and you get to play against the league average.
Oh.
So on those weeks when you drop...
I hate double headers, but I still like this website.
So, on those weeks when you drop 180 points, but you just so happen to play the dude that scored 181 that week, well, you're not going to go 0-1. At least you'll go 1-1.
Yeah, that's cool. So they're a new sponsor for Dynasty Football Factory. And
I got mock drafts on there, too.
Yeah, so they're going to be throughout all of our podcasts and everything. So welcome to the family, guys. Thanks. So we do have a couple bits of news that we were going to go over before we bring in Danny. And our news are brought to you by rotosurance.com. Go over there and get your 20% off your player insurance by entering the code DynastyTradesHQ, all in caps. So, Shane.
So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, right?
One thing I wanted to say about rotosurance after Shane's done an update. Go ahead, Shane.
Well, I was just going to say rotosurance. I'm actually going to go ahead and make a roster that consists of basically Will Fuller, Leonard Fournette, Deshaun Watson,
AJ Green,
maybe
Julio
not,
Jones,
but definitely a bunch of guys that have injury history, but a bunch of upside. And then I'm going to roto-shore them.
That's awesome. So yeah,
I'm gonna shore them.
Then so we do have some, wait, you know who else you could get insurance on? And it's a big story that came out today, which is great. Every time we do a show, some news story comes out. But Antonio Brown's got like frostbite on his feet or something.
Oh my God. Don't go hiking in the mountains.
So I wish he did, because then it wouldn't be so fucking just stupid. So apparently Antonio Brown went into a cryogenic chamber without the proper footwear. In case you haven't heard, those things are really cold.
Was Michael Jackson in there too? Or
yeah. So he's got severe frostbite on his feet, which is just so hopefully they don't have to amputate. And just, so we're putting it out there. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, there's been no talk of it being amputation, but he has blisters and whatnot, but I haven't heard anything to indicate like he's going to lose a toe. Now, if he loses a toe, I don't know if I'm drafting him. I got to be honest with you, because your balance, you'd be surprised how much balance you lose when you don't have all your toes.
I think all the stories that come out today, not one of the stories implied he's going to lose anything. But it is.
Shane is reading into things really heavily.
But it does.
I'm just saying there's a non-zero chance that he loses a toe.
Yeah.
All.
But that's somebody that if you would have got insurance on him, maybe you'd be able to use that. And
then I don't want to get into the other stuff too much because I'm tired of hearing about it on other podcasts. But Zeke's still holding out apparently for the rest of the year, and Melvin Gordon may retire if he doesn't get paid. So if they're in redraft, you might want to move them down your board a little bit.
Yeah, and like we talked about last week too, we even said it, all this shit happens now, but by the time the season starts, who knows what's going to happen. So, all right, well, cool. Like, I agree with Shane. Everybody's talked about that to death, about those two guys. So why don't we hear from the Scouting Academy, and then we'll bring in Danny Kelly.
Yeah, I'm tired of waiting. I don't even want to talk about this.
I love Danny Kelly.
Okay, here comes Scouting Academy.
Scout NFL football like a pro. Invest in yourself and get a degree in player evaluation and assessment from the Scouting Academy. They've educated NFL GMs, personnel directors, and dozens of NFL scouts. Enroll today and you'll watch the same game tape NFL coaches watch. You'll learn to look past the metrics with position-by-position analysis. This is a time-tested curriculum, a chance to learn from the NFL execs and coaches. Sign up today and get a Dynasty Football Factory exclusive discount for limited time only. Save $50 when you sign up at DynastyFootballFactory.com.
So you jump on the website and there's a link to the Scouting Academy and save yourself $50 off the next semester. I know it's not fun to talk about because basically at this point we're tired of thinking about rookies, and I'm sure most rookie drafts are over. But
I am not tired of talking about rookies. By the way,
they'll be rookies again next year. That's the thing about rookies, man. It's like that scene from the movie with Matthew McConaughey when he's like. Well, no, that's
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah,
They all
yeah.
the same age.
Every year.
Was anyone else creeped out by that besides me? Even the first time I saw it.
I think it's supposed to be creepy.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. We're going the wrong path. But also, if they join the Scouting Academy now, they can learn all the stuff they need to learn so that they're ready for the next group of kids coming in. So the people that heard that extra voice in here, because it's just been the three of us up till now, but there was a fourth voice in there, and it's our special guest, Danny Kelly, staff writer for The Ringer. How you doing, Danny?
Doing excellent. How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Well, we were okay, and then Shane joined. But Danny, we have to preface this. Danny is in a football league with us, Dynasty Football League. It's a great invitational league that Scott Barrett started, Dude Fantasy Bro. DFB Invitational, and Danny, I have to say, we all looked at the draft after the startup to see who had the best draft, and I think everybody was pretty much like, Danny Kelly's team is amazing. I mean, and you're not like a dynasty guy. You say that, hey guys, I'm not a dynasty guy. I'm trying to play for now, and this is but you had a great team. Tell everybody how you approached this Scott Barrett Invitational League and your Dynasty team, because you ended up with a great roster.
Well, I appreciate that. So I got lucky enough, I guess, to get invited to this because I'm not a Dynasty diehard. Obviously, I've been doing fantasy for a while, but kind of my introduction to the Dynasty, version of the game, and it was really fun. I kind of approached it just from the horde receivers point of view. I had the first pick. I had the first pick. So it was, at that point, I think Barkley was kind of the no-brainer. I think maybe, you could potentially say now that Mahomes, especially since this is a super flex team, has, I think, kind of turned into the number one ADP guy at that position. But I went with Barkley. And I don't regret it because I think he'll be a really high floor guy for a while now, a long time. And so that's good. And then from there, I'm not looking at the draft in front of me, but I'm just looking at my roster. I went a lot of receivers. I got Julio Jones, DJ Moore, Will Fuller, Dante Pettis, Corey Davis is kind of like my core group of receivers. I'm really happy about that. I ended up I got like some like high upside guys later on, like DJ Chark potentially could end up being a starter for the Jags. Yeah. And some dart throws later in the rounds. And then I feel like I would like to say that I'm really, really smart, but I got pretty lucky in the draft because we did the rookie draft before the actual draft.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
So I hit on a couple guys in that, like Cole Hardman, I think I got in like the third or fourth round of the rookie draft, and he went into the Chiefs, and so that looks like a potentially good longer term investment. And I got Darrell Henderson, I got Devin Singletary.
Oh yes, that's awesome.
Devin is my favorite one.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Devin is a great.
I got Jacobs was like the number 3 or 4 pick. I think I had the 4th pick.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. Yeah, we actually did the startup draft in March, and then we did our rookie draft the week before the NFL rookie draft. Yeah, and you had the 1.04 pick. So you got Jacobs at 1.04.
He was
Which
always
is
my
great.
target at that spot too, because like based on ADP at the time, it was a couple receivers, and well, Kyler was number one. Scott basically made it no secret that he was going to take Kyler number one,
Right.
and then I figured that it would be. I need to pull up the actual draft. I think it was like DK Metcalf.
But Jacobs at 4 is great value.
Yeah, I have it right here. It was Kyler Murray, N'Keal Harry, AJ Brown we took at 103, and then you took Josh Jacobs at 104, and then we took Hakeem Butler at 105.
Yeah, none of those picks worked out for us.
So-
None of
Buried
those
the Titans. And Hakeem
The
Butler.
pre-draft rookie thing is fun though. I think that it was like it made the draft really fun. I thought.
It did until, well, the draft happened.
Butler lasted fifth round or whatever. Yeah.
That was
Until
probably
the
the worst rookie draft I've ever been part of, but yeah.
Well, it
For
also
what
came
it's
out.
worth, I was really high on Butler too. So I don't know.
Yeah, and Butler came out a few weeks after that he was lying about his age, which I didn't like because it just
Yeah.
changed. It changed. It didn't matter. He's still gonna end up sucking. Whatever. AJ Brown though, that's what kills me.
Sucking. It's just he's not going to be valuable this year.
Yeah, and
Or
even
next.
and Danny at 204 and 205, he took Darrell Henderson and Devin Singletary back to back. So that was pretty good for you.
Singletary is going to be a beast. Henderson,
I really like him.
I think he's going to be a difference maker, but so many people after you drafted him, he just shot up the charts. I mean, he was being drafted at the top of the first rounds of rookie drafts.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Darrell Henderson is worth the top half of first round rookie picks. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, it all depends on what happens with Gurley. I mean, like if his need like degenerates really quickly, like some people think it might, then Henderson is just an insane
Value,
piece. Yeah. But I was actually really excited about the Singletary one. I remember talking to Scott at the time, and I don't think he was very high on Singletary at the time.
He's not a big Singletary fan, no.
And I was like, I think he was telling me to pick Harris or something. And I was like, no, I'm taking Singletary. I just really like Singletary. And I think he'll be the starter in Buffalo, before too long here. I really liked that pick. I really, really and then Hardman, and then I got Jalen Hurd way later in the draft.
That's good value, yeah.
And I really just like those two as values. Like, I don't think I could have gotten Hardman that late
No,
if it was after the draft.
With Singletary, I have 9 shares of him in my leagues, but I was getting him in like the 3rd round and the middle of the 2nd round in a lot of the drafts I was in, but I really liked him too. I got him, like I said, almost in every one of them.
Well, that's before all the camp news came out that he was running with the ones.
Well, yeah, we did all our rookie stuff back in April and May, so it was easier.
Yeah, clearly, because he wasn't even signed yet. So, yeah, it would have been hard to be running with the ones because he would have been practicing by himself.
Exactly. It was really easy in the early parts of the draft.
He was
But
playing by
but I got him in the auction that we're in, Jeremy, the other day. I got him for $2 out of a $200 salary. That was awesome.
I know. Just leave that.
Okay, so listen.
That's the stupidest thing ever.
Okay, listen. So we kind of just jumped right into the DFB and we kind of skipped over everything else. So Danny, you mentioned earlier about being redraft. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Since we kind of jumped right into there.
Yeah. Well, I work at the Ringer. I originally just kind of started out as a general NFL analyst for the Ringer. I was a Seahawks writer for about 5 years, and then I was doing a lot of NFL wide stuff for SB Nation. Then the Ringer picked me up, and I sort of have just gradually become more like hardcore interested in fantasy football, and so I've been basically doing that more and more over the last couple of years, and it's been a bigger part of just what I do now. We put together some preseason rankings on the Ringer this year for the first time, so that's really fun. And so I'm just kind of getting more hardcore into all the fantasy stuff. I've always played fantasy, but sort of doing it as your job is a different approach, and so it's been really, really fun. I love fantasy, so it's really fun for me. But like I said, I'm kind of a Dynasty beginner. I've been completely obsessed with it, though. I will say, like I've spent the entire summer just like it's the only thing I think about, pretty much.
How many leagues are you in now?
I'm in 3 Dynasty leagues right now. So, and hopefully, I'm always open to joining more. I actually took over one orphan team in the hyperactive leagues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's been really fun.
Leagues, yeah.
That's been interesting. Taking over an orphan team is an interesting sort of thing because you don't know who anyone in the league is, and then you also just like my team was really good in 2014 and 15. I think I was looking back at the history. They won the title, I want to say, in 2014 and 15 or something like that. And but all the players on that team were like Jordy Nelson, Marshawn Lynch, Tez Bryant, and all these players that are really just gone at this point. So
my man, he went ahead, he did what he needed to do, got all the vets, won, and said, "Yeah, I think I'm going to roll out now." So you know what though? It's funny. Danny mentions those hyperactive leagues, and I think they're a great place for a lot of dynasty beginners because one, you have to hone your skills in communications with other owners because it's easy when you know guys. It's easy for me to be in a league.
This was on hyperactive, yeah.
Yeah, me too. So you learn how to, basically you're learning everything from scratch, which is fun. And it's fun not having someone there to help you. Like if I make a shit trade in a hyperactive league when I first started, no one would reach out to me and go, "That was a bad trade, and this is why." They'd say, "That was a terrible trade, and you're stupid." Whereas
whereas we do that every week on our show, Shane.
Well, but and I'm still stupid, but that's fine. But normally, if you're in a league with a bunch of guys, at least one or two of them will, if they know you're fresh meat, will kind of pull you to the side and be like, "Hey, don't do that again." Not this league because Scott's evil.
He really is.
Well, it is kind of cool though, Danny. I remember when I first started playing Dynasty, and it's a way different way of playing than redraft, and it was kind of exciting to see what you can do and how many leagues you can do. So you were a writer for Seattle. So is that your team, the Seahawks?
Yeah, I wrote for SB Nation. I ran their Seahawks blog, and then I wrote for their national site or whatever for like 5 years. Seahawks fan. So I got to cover the Seahawks during their Super Bowl years, which was really fun. That's kind of my background.
Hey, Danny, are they going to pass more this year? Are we going to see Russell Wilson throwing the football? What's happening?
I think they will because they'll have to. I think their defense is not going to be nearly as good, and it wasn't great last year. It was pretty much league average, if that. And so I think they're probably going to approach, like, I don't know if you remember watching the Kansas City game, the Seahawks from last year. They really just approached that game like we're going to open it up and just let the offense go because we know we can't stop them. And I think they'll have to do that a little bit more, especially early in the season because they've got the Saints, the Steelers, the Rams. They've got some good offenses. Even the Cardinals, who we don't know if they're good yet, but they're going to be kind of all air it out type thing. So I think, I don't think it's going to be their choice necessarily, but I think they're going to have to let Russell Wilson do a little bit more just because they're going to be playing from behind more. So,
and we know Russell Wilson can do that. Obviously, he can do that. We've seen him at the end of games, and so hopefully they unleash him.
To the everlasting chagrin of most Seahawks fans, we know what Russell Wilson can do, and we just want to see it more. So, it's been kind of the biggest point of contention for a long time for Seahawks fans is that they just really – Pete Carroll's whole philosophy is to not turn the ball over. It's like the thing he talks about the most by far, the turnover ratio, and it's been connected to winning stronger than any other, thing or whatever. And so they just really, really keep it tight, play it close to their vest. Like the worst thing you can do is turn the ball over. They'd rather go 3 and out than turn it over. And that's just how
I'd rather him give it to Marshawn Lynch than not score a touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do you think that he gets mentally scarred from the Super Bowl now?
I know I am.
I don't think it's still a thing, but it was for like 2 years afterwards. Sure. It was like a thing that really affected their whole team. It kind of, now it's like a whole new team pretty much.
Yeah.
There's just there's not very many players. I don't know how many players are left from the Super Bowl team, but it's like single digits, if that.
What year was that? 2015?
2013.
2013.
God, has it been that long now?
5 or 6.
It's actually been,
Holy shit. Well,
I don't know. Russell Wilson might be the last one.
It was the first time, actually, Marshawn Lynch ever spoke, and he said, "I'm just about that action, boss." That was the first time anyone ever heard him talk, and it's too bad.
That interview with Deion Sanders is, with Sanders, right? That was just like a classic. I love that.
Well, when you're talking about the roster there, we had an article here that we were going to talk to you about about tight ends that you wrote for The Ringer, but I saw earlier today you shared a story on your timeline about Jacob Hollister being a tight end over there at Seahawks to watch.
Yeah. He's had some buzz, actually. I've heard that from a couple different people. Yeah, that he's been making plays. I think he's sort of one of those like H-back types. He's not necessarily a blocking type tight end. Yeah. So maybe they see Will Dissly as the inline blocker, and maybe they'll have this other guy, Jacob Hollister, who they acquired from the Patriots. Maybe he'll be a kind of like the move tight end that they've been looking for. So who knows? Obviously there's a lot of buzz on a lot of guys, but I have heard that before. Like I'd heard that from like beat writers and stuff before, that he's been really kind of showing out.
Let's hope so, because Will Dissly's not exciting at all, and what I mean?
I was excited by him last year. He was like points per opportunity. He was like a top 4 player, but it was on like 14 targets, I think. According to the FF statistics article I read today.
Yeah, and Danny,
that's the only reason I know that.
Danny, when I looked it up, Hollister, I went and looked. I'm in 19 leagues, and I looked, and he was available in like 10 of them. He's on the waiver wire on so many of them.
Well, because he was that new hotness. Remember, he was going to be a thing with the Patriots.
Right.
And then he wasn't.
That's what surprised
and then he wasn't.
All the Patriots tight ends, any tight end associated with the Patriots, they have like 33 of them, and like only 3 will ever be relevant, blocking or otherwise, and they're all owned, and everybody picks them up because they're like, oh my God, this is the next Rob Gronkowski. This tight end's totally getting all those targets. There's not a single tight end in the world that's going to get Rob Gronkowski targets, and it's definitely not going to be anyone on that roster unless Andrew Beck, like maybe in 3 years. Nobody on that current roster is going to approximate Rob Gronkowski, but wow.
Gronkowski was such a unicorn. Everything about his career just makes no sense. The way that he would raise, I think I saw the stat today, I think maybe it was in Scott's article, Brady's pass rating was so much higher with Gronk.
Right, yeah.
It's just a freak, man. Yeah.
He was also anomaly outside of football, too, because he got away with so much stuff that a lot of people get in trouble for, but he never really got in trouble for the stuff he did,
Well, I mean, we know why that is.
But also, back in the early days when this first...
Well, hold on, guys.
Before Gronkowski became Gronkowski, I was looking at Aaron Hernandez, the H-back in Belichick's system, because he was such a great player. He really was. And Belichick was really leaning on that spot in the offense. And Hernandez, that role was like going to become a premium, and then all the things went,
then he
the
killed
way they
people.
did for Hernandez, and he just dropped off, injuries, and then evil and craziness, and then Gronkowski, the inline tight end, he just blew up, and nobody knew that was going to happen. But Hernandez was a great value at first, and then it just because it was Belichick, he pivoted, and it turned out like it did.
It's crazy that he picked Gronk and Hernandez in the same draft. Right. He pioneered that whole thing.
He did.
I'm thinking
for you.
But and he was smart enough to use them that way, and then like you guys are saying, everyone kind of expects all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, but for some reason, like whatever tight end's going to be there, like he's just going to be like, oh no, Matt LaCrosse, you're definitely
Matt LaCrosse is never going to be
like, well, it might be that the fact is that he had 2 tight ends that basically were Hall of Famers, could have been Hall of Famers. Yeah. Gronkowski obviously will be, and Hernandez had the talent, if not the faculties, to do it at least. Danny, one thing I wanted to ask you though, because you've covered football from a couple different perspectives, and there's still a large segment of the population that kind of doesn't think fantasy football fans or fantasy football players really know football. That stigma, like you've seen both fans, I guess, or both of enough bases. Who would you think is more versed in football and things like that? Would it be the person that doesn't play fantasy, or would it be the person that does?
It would be you, Shane.
I'm just asking. I don't care if he says me or not.
So honestly, well, there's a huge just depends in that answer, but of course I think
it just depends.
I mean, I think in order to play fantasy and be a really good fantasy player, you have to get so in depth, and you have to know what matters. So, like, just in my experience, like, I think fantasy, quote, fantasy analysts have been, like, some of the smartest people that I've talked to. And that's nothing, like, so that's not taken away from, like, film people or whatever, but you have to know so many stats. You have to know so many schemes because it matters in fantasy, right? And you have to know what every offense does. Maybe I can couch it this way. Fantasy players are better at offense. And maybe film people are better at defense because you don't have to know defenses as well, obviously. But I mean, fantasy people know these offenses inside and out. So,
Danny, do you play any IDP leagues?
I do not.
Don't.
That's like
don't ever do it. It's a sickness.
Do it. It's awesome.
Don't do it.
It's awesome. It's great.
It's literally the difference between being a meth head and a crackhead.
Oh,
like,
no.
It's not like one's an addiction, you know what I mean, and the other is like a sickness.
It's
like,
true.
It's no, listen.
Like playing poker for fun and then going to a casino and like taking all your money and spending it all. Like, you just don't need to play defense.
No, Danny, you were talking earlier about being excited and going into this. When you open up that door, it's even way better. You'll love
it is not.
Yes, it is.
No.
It's just you grow a beard.
A gateway drug.
You grow a beard.
No, that's it. That's the only thing IDP does is it makes you grow a beard, and then you say things like, "You don't really play fantasy unless you play IDP."
No, I never say that, but it's definitely true. You
IDP
see the other half of the screen. You're watching only one half of the football game. Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Yes,
I love to watch just the better half, which is the offense.
So real quick, Danny, I wanted to hit on one story that apparently wasn't recent of yours, but I did like.
What do you mean by not recent?
Maybe some of the Patreon
Well,
people will understand that joke, but go ahead.
So but back in May, Danny wrote an article.
So long ago.
But I mean, it's still something that I think is true. It holds true. He wrote an article basically saying, he's going to go big or not at all at tight end, where he's shooting for one of the big, I guess 3 or 4 or whatever it is, 3 now.
You have to. You have to do that. That's great strategy.
Oh, sorry. This is from today.
It's kind of a big statement. I thought it was.
No, he was talking about the other articles. Shane,
going back so long
I know.
ago.
He's the one that told me it was.
I know, but I already brought up the tight end thing because the other one was the old one, not the tight end one.
The other one was old.
Yeah, so we were talking. That's why.
Reading Danny's articles. Good God.
I read this one. Well, so I was out smoking.
Okay, and that's why I mentioned the Hollister thing and when I lead it into the tight end article. So, all right, so Danny, yes, Danny, talk about the tight ends and who you're targeting.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
Look, I'm easily confused, Danny, so I don't appreciate you confusing me.
So, Danny, why don't you tell us about the article and what tight ends you're liking and who you're targeting late?
Yeah. So the crux of the article is essentially that I'm just not. I've mostly been avoiding sort of the middle class of the tight end group in drafts this year, and there's a lot of research done. Like Rich Reber at Sharp Football Stats had written like a really interesting article just about kind of like the diminishing returns of taking some of that mid group based on how the tight ends have been targeted over the last few years. And so like apart from maybe like Vance McDonald, who I think actually has a good chance for like a lot of upside this year, I've mostly been sort of just ignoring the Jared Cook, Ebron, Njoku, Hooper, Burton, Delaney Walker group. That whole group, like Kyle Rudolph, like I just haven't really been that interested in that group. Because I think they're like just when you're picking at each of those spots, there's just other guys that I think are more interesting at receiver and running back. So that was kind of the crux on it. Like if you miss out on the big 3, like don't panic. You can get guys that I think are going to be really interesting this year. Mark Andrews is sort of the big one. Yeah. He's the guy that I think I've been targeting probably the most. And he's just like, if you look at his efficiency stats from last season, it was pretty incredible what he was able to do. He was from week 11 on, when Lamar Jackson took over, he had 3.2 yards per route run from week 11 on, which was by far best in the NFL. He finished 4th behind Kittle, Kelsey, and Howard in yards per route run on the whole season. So like efficient throughout the whole season. He's targeted really deep down the field. His pass rating when targeted was 129. Second in yards per reception, only to Kelsey. Second in deep yards. So like, there's just a lot there. His volume wasn't super high, but I think kind of in this young pass catching core in Baltimore, he's going to be a big target.
Oh, yeah, and if Lamar Jackson isn't going to pass on a play, run on a play, it seems like he's looking down the center of the field pretty heavily.
That was my just my impression last year watching Jackson was that he felt really comfortable kind of just passing it over the middle of the field. So that means like slants, seam routes, things like that. For whatever reason,
to the running back, to the tight end,
yeah. So that was just like where he was more comfortable to my eye. I think the numbers back that up, but I haven't actually looked deep into it. But that was just sort of my
And he's a better passer than people give him credit for. I mean, he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers next season, but if he just becomes slightly improved in the passing game, which he was pretty good at in Louisville, if he just becomes slightly improved, he could become one of the better fantasy quarterbacks. And then there you go. There's Mark Andrews upside all the way, because he's clearly one of the targets in that passing game, in addition to being a favorite of Lamar Jackson. That's good.
Yeah, so like he's the guy that I think that could actually be a week-to-week starter for you. And then past that, there's a bunch of like sort of streamer types. Obviously with Dynasty, it's different, but like the Jordan Reeds, the Jack Doyles, Tyler Eifert, you can get those guys really late.
Cheap,
and they have week-to-week matchup, opportunity in flex leagues, in your flex spot or in your tight end spot. Noah Fant is a guy who I think could have a good rookie year, relatively good rookie year. Obviously, a lot of rookie tight ends don't really like do big numbers, but I mean, if you watch the Hall of Fame game, it was almost everything was play action bootleg. And so I think that's going to be a huge part of what they do. And he could be kind of a highly targeted kind of like underneath option in that. And then he also has the ability to kind of stretch the seam. And then Chris Herndon, again, was very good last year. Down the stretch, kind of had a connection with Sam Darnold. These are the type of players that I would probably rather pick than like I was saying, like the sort of mid-tier guys. So that's just kind of been my strategy. Obviously, some of those guys could go off, but like my thinking is just sort of like the opportunity cost of getting like a good wide receiver 2 or running back 2 or whatever in that area. Kind of trumps that. So
I know from like best ball drafts, everybody seems to have forgotten about Delaney Walker. Like he didn't retire. He was hurt last year, and he was amazing. He's always been really good until that season when he got hurt. And yeah, he's 1 year older. He didn't play last year, but let's just think. I'd love to have 70% of Delaney Walker's last season this year, because that would be amazing. He would still probably be a tight end 1 at 70% of what he was 2 years ago. And he's not free, but he's really, really cheap.
Yeah.
And for that, I like the Jordan Reed take, though.
Yeah.
And Tyler Eifert, who...
both great tight ends,
brought up,
injured,
both those guys. I mean, look, although Reed was actually fairly healthy last year, I think, at least played.
I'll take Reed anywhere I can get him, because as long as he doesn't get another concussion, that guy is an incredible player. He's really good.
A couple other guys I didn't mention that have kind of crazy upside that could pan out are Darren Waller from Oakland, who is taking over for Jared Cook, and then Ian Thomas,
Carolina.
Was really productive in the games that I think late in the season.
Yeah.
Found a good connection with Cam Newton. Obviously, Greg Olsen is back, so if Olsen is healthy, that he's probably not a factor, but that's I think a big question mark kind of going forward. So
it's funny.
He's another guy.
I was going to ask you about. I was going to ask you about Waller too, because even in the listener league today, our waivers went through for the first time in a 16-team league, and I spent almost all of my money to get Waller, because Waller was like the only player that was available on the waiver wire, and I needed a tight end. So that's great that you mentioned his name too.
You should.
I remember him.
Everybody talk. What?
I was just gonna say I remember him coming out of college.
We were all high on him.
Yeah, he was like super athlete, big guy, it makes sense that he converted to tight end. I think he was a receiver in college. In college.
Yep. Yes, he was. Yeah, Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were Calvin Johnson.
Yeah,
wasn't it Georgia? Didn't he play at Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
So there was like the
so
Calvin
we're
Johnson
all like
connection.
kind of looking at the same. Like, can this guy convert and be? Yeah, because he was really good as a receiver, and he's huge, and not really unlike Ricky Seals-Jones in Arizona, which could pay off too. Waller, did he finally develop? Because that was the thing; he just never developed it in Baltimore. Do you think he's gonna? I mean, do you think he's gonna turn the corner?
I mean, I think he's got a pretty good chance, honestly, and with the way that Derek Carr kind of like passes, he's very sort of he's the same way. He's good over the middle of the field, but he's also like a check down guy. He doesn't love to. He's not
surgical
super
over the middle, and then the rest of his game is questionable. He's surgical over the middle.
Right. So I mean, like his upside is what Jared Cook was. Obviously, I think obviously, I think Cook finished 5th last year in PPR, and so he's got a tight end 1 upside. Obviously, has to put it together, but everything we've heard coming out of camp is so good. Mm-hmm. People are talking about him a lot, so we'll see. Obviously, there's a lot of time left, but
I wrote the.
I'm just real quick, and if Antonio Brown has to get amputated.
It
opens up a lot of target opportunity.
Yeah, we already went into all that at the beginning of the show with his stupid foot. But
if he does have feet, though, I'm a little concerned about the targets.
He does have
Williams and Jacobs,
and it is true about the cheapness. I got him in a lot of these waivers over the this offseason. So, Danny, I know you said you had a limited time with us, but we did. Speaking of the listener league, we did have a trade alert that Shane wanted to talk about from the listener league, right, Shane?
We did.
Yeah, you were about to yell trade alert a little earlier, and Jeremy interrupted you.
Rude.
I just allowed it, but now you can do it now.
Well, Danny has a limited amount of time, so let's do this trade and wrap it up.
and the parameters of this is a Superflex 16-team league. Yeah. So on one side we got running chalk. I forget who that is in real life.
Justin.
He gave up. It's Justin. He gave up Lamar Miller, Damian Harris, Kenyon Drake, Geronimo Allison, and Marquise Brown.
And that's a lot to give up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players.
Yeah,
and again, in a 16-team league, all 5 of those are starters. I don't know who they're replacing, but just for a point of reference, I have Kelvin Benjamin and Leonte Carew on my roster.
Okay, so not a lot of upside.
And that's why I spent $926 on Waller.
Or Kenny Galladay, a 2020 first, a 2020 fourth, and a 2021 third.
Wow.
Wow is right. That's why Shane put it on the sheet.
Say that one more time for the listeners, because that's a lot of moving parts.
One more time? Okay, and I'll say it slowly. Lamar Miller, Damian Harris, Kenyon Drake, Geronimo Allison, and Marquise Brown.
Oh, God.
4, Kenny Galladay, a 2020 first, and garbage pick.
But 2024th and a 2021 third. It is substantial if you think about it, down the line, but those picks are kind of garbage.
Well, I got to look, I'm doing the math, right? And the math works out the 48th and the 76th pick, give or take.
Listen, I love Kenny Galladay, but the fact that you got Lamar Miller, Damian Harris, what could be the starter in Kansas City, I don't know if he's as good as Carlos Hyde. We'll see. I prefer Carlos Hyde. We'll see. Kenyon Drake, probably the long-term starter in Miami, but just Lamar Miller and Geronimo Allison and Marquise Brown I'd prefer to have over Kenny Galladay in that 2021st. So, I mean, it's a win with like 2 players into my list. Then you have Marquise Brown and some other things. So there's no doubt in my mind you won this trade, and I love Kenny Galladay, but he's just not as valuable as all that stuff that you got. And beyond the 2021st and Kenny Galladay, none of those things in 2020 or 2021 interest me at all. It's too far out.
Well, it's not Shane, it's Brian Hooton who got all those players for Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, that wasn't me. I'm sorry. I didn't know the other manager. What the fuck?
It's not your trade. This is
it's listener league.
Two teams in our league.
Yeah. Shane actually wasn't part of it. But hey, what about Danny? What do you think, Danny?
I mean, yeah, my instinct. I'm actually not in any 16-team league. So,
it's very difficult.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So that kind of like you said, those sound like starters.
And you know what, Danny? Never join one either. They're just a pain in the ass. Don't do it.
Yeah, and also it's a super flex too. So there's teams that don't even have quarterbacks.
Well, Danny, here's the thing. We're going to start a third listener league, and I'd really love you to join, and if possible, also commish.
No. You don't have to, Danny. You don't have to commish. No, but
all right. Well, if you're just in it, that's good enough, I guess.
So I have an infant, so I'm gonna have to say no to the commish.
Justin Running Chalk, he has an infant as well. I know he went through all that. You went through your paternity leave. You said earlier this year.
I spent like the last 2 months mostly on paternity leave, so. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting back into the grind now.
So. Danny on this show
congratulations.
For like 3 months. He's like, listen, I'm going to be a dad in like 3 weeks. I'm going to be a dad in like 2 weeks. I'm going to be a dad next week. Let's wait until August because I think things will be quieter. And I'm like, all right, man, I totally get it. Let's wait until August. And I've been there, so I'm not going to step on his toes because when I first became a dad, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a parent. This is crazy. Am I going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
Is there a book that can help me? Is there a Cliff's Notes thing?
Then
you just do it and it becomes okay. But it was at first you're just like so stressed out.
I finally, I genuinely, profoundly understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, Danny,
no one understands until you're a parent.
Until you do it, exactly.
Like, oh, I have a dog, and I've only killed 4 of them. You know what I mean? Like,
God, no, shush.
So I'll be great with kids. It doesn't work that way. No. I'll tell you what, you leave that one kid in the car.
Oh my God! All right. Danny has to go, guys. I don't want to talk about cars. No, shut up. All right, Danny, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
You guys, thanks for having me. And sorry again for kind of pushing it back, but yeah.
No,
it's all good. We really appreciate you.
We don't care at all.
And congratulations to you on being a first-time father.
Yes.
First time. Congratulations, man. Nothing better.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys, so much.
All right, thanks. And thanks for coming on, and we'll see you at DFB Invitational.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
We'll see him there? Is there like a...
Well, we're going to play him eventually, and when we play him, we'll beat him.
I didn't know if we were going to hang out somewhere, like Scott's house.
Hey, I'll be...
We're going to do the rookie draft next year at Scott's house in Houston.
Yeah. Danny, I'll be in Portland doing a convention in November. Maybe I'll see you then. Okay.
Ooh, I like it. Nice.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Right,
take care, brother. We'll see you.
Bye.
Right, sounds good.
Bye-bye.
So, guys...
I love that guy.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad that he came on. So why don't we wrap up the show and get ready for the Patreon episode. So before we do, though, everybody come check out our Twitter account at DynastyTradesHQ. Check out our iTunes at DynastyTradesHQ. Oh, Shane, you want to tell people about the Patreon account?
Yeah, do it, man.
I got a couple things I want to talk about. Get off my chest with you people.
With you people?
What people?
What people?
I don't know. People, just people in general. I can't stand them. No, I want to say we've had some new patrons join, and I'm very excited by that. I
am too, man.
Yeah, I don't want to always be complaining, so I want to say thank you to all our new patrons. We actually got another female, which always makes me happy just to break up the monotony.
We got a couple women following us.
I just like breaking up the monotony of men, and just every time it's hot out, we all start sharing pictures of our grills.
Well, I do want to say something that has happened again. It happened again this week, and it is an interesting side effect of our Patreon chat. We want to welcome Troy Olson to the family at DFF. So it's another one of our Patreons that actually
became a Dynasty Football Factory guy. Yeah.
That became a Dynasty Football Factory guy, exactly. And he's also hosting one of our shows. So it's a side effect because there's been a few people.
So I don't know if I told you guys this. So I'm actually making people bribe me. to join this site.
So you're
okay.
So
I
like,
just
look,
thought it
you
was a
wanna join
cool
this
little
site,
side effect.
You got to become a patron also, and then send me some money on the side.
So there's money on the
Speaking of
side.
sending money on the side, go out and buy the 2019 Factory Fantasy Football Guide that myself, Michael Stevenson, Tom Burrows, Jeremy Browand.
Browand, you put an H in my name, but I did the QA of that, dude. I can't. I have to give you the greatest kudos on that document, that magazine. That thing is immense. It took me 5 hours on a Sunday to just edit it, to do the final edits, to proof it, and it was really good. I didn't do anything at all. I fixed a few minor things. This document is incredible. But the fact that it took me, and I didn't know it would take me this long, 5 hours to read the son of a bitch. It is so huge and so full of stuff, like really good information, stats, facts, like so many things to give you an edge in redraft, in best ball, hell, in Dynasty. I mean, you can use it for anything. It's just such a valuable thing. I couldn't believe when I committed to do the final review that it took me 5 damn hours. But it was worth it. I learned a lot, and I'm glad I read it.
Cool.
But seriously, for anybody out there that thinks that $10 is too much for something like this, oh my God, $10. I swear to God, this thing should cost like $50 after reading it. I'm not kidding. I'm not just doing that to try to sell a few magazines for Shane. It is really good, and it's worth every bit of $10.
Cool. So yeah, go over to the site and go buy Shane and everybody else's
It'll take you
report. And also join the website. Correct? Well, what are all the
become a subscriber?
Also become a subscriber at DynastyFootballFactory.com.
Yeah, if you're not a subscriber, you're missing out on some great content because I get to edit it, and also I'm a co-owner of the site, so I get to read everything.
There you go.
So that's good. So yeah, and I get to edit a lot of the stuff. But if you're a subscriber to the site, you get to even see the prettier version of it because it's all prettied up and edit it. But cool. Just great work, man. There's just really great writers we got on board, and we're going to actually start having some of them on so we can help the world, our millions and millions of fans.
Exactly. So
one of the big contributors to that was Tom Burrows. We've had him on the show a couple times, and that guy is a gem. He's a value add no matter what he's doing. But he contributed pretty heavily to the document.
Cool. Yeah, he's a great guy. So, all right, cool. So we're going to get ready to do the Patreon show. So thanks for listening, and we will talk to you guys next week, and we'll see you later.
Right on.
Say bye, Shane.
Bye, Shane.